All right, congratulations. I cannot believe it. We are now finished with our Unit 7, Unit 8 test, and it is now time to get prepared for the end of the year test, which is really exciting because it marks the fact that we're pretty much finished with fifth grade math, and now you guys have one last chance to prove to me that any of the areas that you didn't master earlier on in the year, you've now mastered through challenge questions and bell work. And the way that you prove that to me is on the end of the trimester test. I'm going to look at all the areas that you don't yet have a 3-item report card. And those in those areas, if, as long as you get 2 out of the 2 questions, because each report card portion in your math will have 2 questions. So I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, there's 44 different things that you were taught this year in math. So you'll have 2 questions for each of those, and if you get both of those questions right, then you are at a 3 because you've proven to me that you've mastered it, you understand it. So what we're going to do now in the next 10 days or so, we're going to go over all of those Common Core standards. And today we're going to start with Unit 1. Okay, so here's Unit 1, and let's see how well your brain has mastered what we learned all the way back in September and October. Okay, so this is literally the same, these are the same challenge questions that I gave you guys back in September, right before I gave you your first unit test. So A says, which fraction is equivalent to 1/2? Well, remember, if it's equal to 1/2, that means whatever it's going to turn into has to have the same multiplier right here and right here. Okay, so if I put 3/60ths, then that cannot be the right, because 1 times 3 is 3, but 2 times 3 is not 60. So it's not 3/60. What about 4/8? Well, if I put 4/8 here, look what the multiplier would be. The multiplier would be 4, the multiplier would be 4, and all it has to do is have the same multiplier, and then they're equivalent. So if you took a large pizza and cut it into 8 slices, and you look at 4 of the slices, then it's half of your pizza. So 1/2 and 4/8 are the exact same thing. 5/20, that would not have the same multiplier, because it would be times 10 here and times 5 here and times 10 there, so that's not right. And then 9/20 is not right either, because 9/20 would be times 9 to make 9, and then times 10 to make 20. So that one doesn't work. So the only one that works there is 4/8. All right, let's go down here. It says, which statement is true? Which statement is true? So you realize that we have 1/2 and 5/12 for everything. So I'm going to put my 1/2. I'm going to put my 5/12s. And then I'm just going to use a comparison. And remember, we can compare by multiplying diagonally. The 2 can multiply the 5 and turn into a 10, and the 12 can multiply the 1 and turn into a 12. This is equal to 1/2, right? Because it is 1/2. How many 12s make 1/2? 6 of them. Well, you only have 5, so of course that's less than 1/2. Therefore, the 1/2 is larger, and then our trick of multiplying a denominator by a numerator helps us solidify that the correct answer is B, which is 1/2 is bigger than 5/12. And then we have 6 3/4 minus 2 1/5. And then we have these denominators that are different names. And remember, when you add or subtract, they have to have the same name. 4 and 5, what's the first number they can both count to? Well, 5 can turn into 5, 10, 15, 20, and 4 can turn into 20. They could both turn into 20. So 20 is their new common denominator. How many 4s made 20? 5. So remember, as long as we repeat that multiplier, we can find the equivalent fraction. So 15/20 is the same value as 3/4 times 4 times 4. And then if I have 15 and lose 4, there's 11, and the name's the same, so it's 11/20. And then 6 minus 2 is 4. So 4 and 11/20 is that answer. And then this one is a little bit more challenging. We have a 10-gallon bucket. Draw my beautiful 10-gallon bucket. There she is. And then we have a 2 3/4 gallon bucket. Sorry, this is the tank. This is the bucket. So pretty. And then what we're going to do is we are going to try to fill this 10 gallons. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 3/4, and we're going to dump it in. And then we're like, you know what? Let's do it again. So then we go and fill it up, and we put it in again. Now, we need to figure out how much more water we need to fill the tank. So first thing you have to do is make sure they have the same denominator, which they do. 3 plus 3 is 6, so you have 6/4. So this is where we're measuring how much total water is already in the 10-gallon bucket. Now, 6/4, 4/4 makes a hole. So we'll pull a 4/4 out and put it with the other holes. And then there'd still be 2/4 left over. And then 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. So we put 5 2/4 or 5 1/2, because 5 2/4 is equal to 5 1/2, because you can cut them. They're both even. Cut them. Half of 2 is 1. Half of 4 is 2. So anyways, we put 5 1/2 into it. So now we want to see the difference. We want to see how much more that we're going to have to put in. So I don't have anything. I can't take half from anything. So I say I need one of your holes. And then the holes were 2 halves. And then if I have 2 halves, I lose 1/2. There's 1/2 left over. If I have 9 and lose 5, there's 4. So how much more water to fill it up? 4.5 gallons. 4.5 gallons. All righty. Okay. What I would like for you guys to do right now, I don't know how far we'll get during our live session, but these are the questions that I want to go over during the live session. So my advice to you would be take out a piece of paper and try these questions, and then we could talk about them at 10:30. And if you don't get around to it, that is fine and dandy. I understand that our time, you might not have enough time to get around to answering these questions as well. So I look forward to seeing you at 10:30.